All right. Now we're on to Gemini, okay? This is for you, Gemini. All right, Gemini, this is Tarot Lumination, all right? And it's your full moon report for April 10th, 2017. That's you, Gemini. Don't forget, um, read for your moon sign and rising, okay? It really, really helps. It gives you a broader perspective, all right? And also, I invite you to read for the all signs April full moon. Like, it's like a background, gives you a bit of stuff about the planets and things like that. Hopefully that brings a little bit more clarity to what's going on for us, because this is a monster full moon, okay? A lot of stuff going on, okay? It's almost way too much for your average reading, but I'm trying to provide you at least something, like a little snippet to help you get through this and get up to it without getting into too much trouble, okay, Gemini? Sometimes you guys can be a little mischievous, let's be honest. Okay, but it's all in good fun. I know you mean well. So, Gemini, you've got Saturn still grinding through your 7th house, and it's just about to flip retrograde. In fact, by the time you read this, it's probably already flipping. And so it's going to be very strong. And so it might be like the truth police are shining a very bright light into the subject of your primary one-on-one relationships. In other words, what's actually going on here, Gemini? Excuse me, do you mind if we have a look around? You're not going to go to jail, but we need to take a poke around. Is everything in order here, okay? We need to do things properly, because if you don't have that part of your life sorted out, Gemini, then it creates all sorts of shitty, crappy, horrible things in every other aspect of your life. Because you can't, relate or function in this world without having healthy relationships with other people. Now, it is a fat, grand trine that's happening with the Saturn retrograde, so it might not be that painful, but it's still a retrograde. So please treat this time coming up for the spring and the summer as a way to get in touch with whatever is untrue, whatever has been exposed as untrue about your primary relationships. And you're going to start to feel it right now at this full moon, okay? Because it's like, it's in Libra, okay, which is your 5th house, which is your house of shining, of creativity, of love, romance, fun, self-expression, being happy, just like being a kid, just being full-on Gemini, like full bore self-expression. And you're going to feel it. It's going to become like, if you're getting any kind of like revelations and awakenings that are happening to you in this kind of like detached, impersonal way in your 11th house of friends and community and wishes for humanity and stuff like that, then whatever is revealed, whatever revelations are happening at that time will be exposed and come to light at this full moon. So you're going to feel it, perhaps in your love life. I'm serious. I mean, how corny is that? But, that's where it's going to hit you, right in the middle of your 5th house, okay? Love and romance, Gemini. Now, with Saturn in your significant others relationship section, it might be all about love and romance, marriage, and things like that. Really, really important relationship and love issues, okay, Gemini? So I'm just saying, that's what I see here, okay? Now, I don't normally do love readings, but honestly, I might have to start doing that soon. We'll see. If you need one, you know where to go, okay? You know where to come. I'm here, but let's just get on. This is just a general reading, okay? So let's just see what happens, all right? One last little spin, and then we'll get into it, all right? Sorry, I've been talking so much, and I just want to get on with your reading. It's like what we do on the Sunday Night Live. It's just 3 little cards and a little bit of background to get you some perspective. And then you can reinterpret however you want, okay? Just look at the pictures. Write your own story. So what's the situation? Oh, we got to cut it. Let's just cut it just for fun, because that's what we do here. It's important to have fun, Gemini, and I know you know that. You're very good at that. So what's the situation? What may the challenges be? And how are we going to deal with that, hopefully? And what's the background? What's going on? Okay, I think this is the third time we've had the Nine of Cups coming up in the readings, people. So it might be that, it might just be that, Gemini, you've been working so hard figuring out all this stuff over the last couple of years that you're actually starting to see some of your deepest held wishes coming through, and you can smell it in the weather. It might not all be there yet, but it's like, yeah, I can smell it. This is good. Good stuff is coming. And if I wish for that and believe in it, I'm going to make it happen, okay? I don't care what I have to go through, but I want it so badly and I deserve it so badly. I'm willing to do the homework, okay? I'm willing to go through the transformations and the awakenings, all right? So let's treat this as really good news, Gemini, all right? So let's come back down to earth, down here. What's the situation, all right? Okay, don't get too carried away, Gemini. Like, if things are actually going well and you're one of the few people who are actually figuring out all this stuff and you're doing a good job, then great, more power to you. But frankly, a lot of people are really struggling with the energies right now in the planets. So if by some wonderful miracle you are managing to sort out your love life, your creativity, your spontaneity, your place in this world, and your value to others in the bigger picture, then wow, yeah, you do have a right to celebrate. That's great. And if you don't feel this way because exactly what you want isn't happening, just trust that over the next few months, you're going to find out what's blocking it, okay? Because that's the whole point of evolution. It's exposing what are the blockages to your evolution, okay, which is usually something to do with hidden truths. And so either way, it looks like either you've made a decision to be happy and that you're going to celebrate with yourself and others, even if it's just simply like taking your sweetheart out for a date or letting somebody take you out for a date. That's awesome. Okay, it's not a love reading, but there's an awful lot of cups here. There's an awful lot of cups here, and I have to admit it. Okay, let's just say it. We are dealing with the fifth house, love and romance, and we're dealing with the seventh house, marriage and significant others. So, yeah, maybe you're just freaking lucky, Gemini, and you're getting all the good stuff and it's working out for you. Okay, cool. I'm a little bit jealous, if you want me to be honest. Jeez. All right, anyway, so what's the challenge with all this really, really good energy? Aha. Whoa, ho, ho. There might be some truths that are very painful that are not being addressed at the moment. So it might be that you're living in a little bit of an illusion of happiness, which is okay. It's okay because it's almost like you have to fake it to make it anyway. But if, dear Gemini, there are some very, very significant truths that are being denied or avoided, and you know deep down in your heart that these are kind of like lose-lose situations. In other words, by exposing the truth, then you're not going to appear to be all that much as you thought you were. And the others that you really cherished and adored and blessed are not going to be as much as you thought they were. And that's not very pretty, okay? That's not much fun. That's not much fun at all. This is so much fun, and this is not fun at all. This is not funny at all. The challenge might be in accepting that still somewhere, and I think this is something to do with Saturn and Sagittarius cruising through your fifth house, there's still a lot of truth that needs to be uncovered. Okay, celebrate what's been going on so far, but there's a lot more work to do over the spring and the summer. Okay, Gemini? So don't get too carried away with your own awesomeness. Normally I encourage people to like rise up to their awesomeness, but you might already be so in love with yourself that it might be like some of these swords might be popping some of your bubbles, okay? like maybe you had a little bit too much champagne, all right? Anyway, sometimes, like, if this is what the challenges are, if the truth is that there are some very bitter, unresolved, almost unfixable situations going on between you and a significant other, especially in matters of the heart, that it's very, very important that you face the truth, okay? Even if it is a lose-lose, because it's almost like this is the energy of people hurting each other for the sake of it in a vicious cycle, a vicious circle. Like, well, you screwed me over, so I'm just F you. So, it's just one of those things like, you know what? F you. Ha, ha, ha. F you. Oh, no, no, no. Nobody dumps me. I'm the one who dumps you. Oh, yeah? Well, watch this, fucker. I'm going to dump you. No, I dumped you first. F you, F you, F you, F you. It's futile, okay? The F word is futile in this situation. I've done a really good job, by the way, Gemini, of really keeping my mouth shut when it comes to profanities. But right now, that's what this little card is telling me, is that you might be walking around in a little bit of a bubble, unwilling to face the fact that there might be a lot of FU energy going on, okay, between yourself and significant others, and it needs to be dealt with, okay? Okay, because it's futile. This sort of energy, this kind of conflict is futile. It's just like punching each other out for the sake of it and just keep going, but there's no good outcome here. It's just conflict for the sake of it. Nobody wins here. Nobody, all right? And the challenge is that because if this is your challenge, then it's important to step away and understand that there's more work to do. Conflicts need to be resolved, okay? You just can't just keep going at it. Boof, 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 boof. It needs resolution, okay? And the best way to do that is to shine light on the situation and accept the truth. Boof. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to deal with this very awkward, very, very uncomfortable energy? You're going to walk right into it. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, dear Gemini, it means walking into it. This means going into these spooky kind of energies that are not normally your turf, okay? This isn't your ground, Gemini. You like things crystal clear and bright and shiny and out there in the open. This is like going into, what do they call that? The dark night of the soul or something. Or going into these spooky initiative or hazing types of energies where, in other words, you're going to have to go deeper, Gemini. A lot of people accuse Gemini of being superficial, and it's understandable why, but the reality is you have so much to offer in terms of listening and communicating and bringing it down to understandable chunks for everybody. But if you're not operating that way, that's not good for you, it's not good for everybody else. And you might be getting initiated into the whole concept of having to go deeper, where you come out of this murky state of self-denial, self-defeat, and murky truth, like let's call it lack of truth in your most profound relationships, especially when it comes to love relationships. And the energy of fate, the energies of destiny may be saying, dear Gemini, you need to take this pathway. You need to walk this pathway into places that are spooky, where you've never perhaps walked before, because that is the way to the truth. You've got to get to the truth. You can't put it off here or deny it there. You've got to get to it, because all of this stuff could fade. This is just weather. All of this stuff is just party stuff. That's great. That's cool. But you need some substance, man. You need to get to the truth of the situation. And if it means you have to go through the shadowy side of yourself and you feel that you don't want to, but destiny is leading you to go there anyway, then the thing is to surrender. So it's like an ego thing. It's like letting go of the ego a little bit and coming down and like getting in tune with the subconscious parts of yourself, which might be difficult for you, Gemini. That's not your normal like territory. But the moon here is telling me to tell you to go deep within, get deep in touch with your subconscious, and let your subconscious talk to you and tell you what is the truth of what's going on, where am I screwing up, and how can I fix that. And the way you do that is you take the risk of going through this, what appears to be a treacherous journey. In other words, it's like hazing. When you go to a new school, when you're a little kid and you go to your new school, or you start high school or something, and you're terrified that you're going to fit in and everyone's going to come down on you just to test you. That's this kind of energy. What this card is telling me to tell you is that you have to surrender and allow yourself to go through this hazing process, even if it is a self-hazing process. You need to endure, and you need to go through the things that are scary and get to the truth, okay? And because that's the only way you're going to let the real light shine. Now, do you see how this is kind of like lunar energy here? But the reality is, the moon doesn't shine without sunlight, okay? And we need to get to the sunny side of this journey. And it might be a long journey for you. It might be the rest of this spring and summer, but this full moon right here is going to be that first moment of awakening, where you get that like aha moment, like, oh my God, I see where I screwed up. I understand where I screwed up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, people. We're going to deal with it. I have to go deep within to figure out what is my contribution to the screw ups. How am I contributing to all this shitty, crappy, effed up stuff? And just admit it and then move on. Clean up your act and move on. That's okay. We all have to do this at some point. So don't be scared of your own shadow. Okay, Gemini? That's all I have to say. Reinterpret at will. Watch your moon, watch your rising, watch the all signs general report. Okay, bye, Gemini.